Shiur 3, Mitzvah Sugyah Shofar, Shofar Sugyah Shmir. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So here we go. We start with the Sugyah Shiur's question. The Sugyah Shiur's question is: you have an elam. He's a person who cannot speak. What does he do with the mitzvah of dibarta bam? Right? The Torah says Kriya Shema has to be spoken out. He doesn't have the power of speech. Can he use Shemea Ka'ona or not? Okay, good. Now, Shemea Ka'ona we know normally works by Kiddush. Let's say he is the Medaber, he's the Mekadesh. This one person is a Shomea. His silence is if he's speaking. Question is, does Shemea Ka'ona work if you physically can't speak? Now, why would we think it doesn't work? Because we know this principle, Kol Roy Lebila and Bila Makeves Bo. If it's not Roy Lebila, Bila is Makeves Bo. And this is not just a principle by Mincha, it's a principle in many, many areas of halacha. And again, the best example is this week's Parsha Bikurim. Vanisa Vamarta, right? You take the Ten Abiyadecha and bring it up to Yerushalayim, and after the waving, you say the words Vanisa Vamarta, and you say it out loud. However, if you don't say it, the Bikurim is still good. But if you can't say it, it's no good. Why? Because of this principle. If it's Roy Lebila, if you could speak, but you didn't, it's fine. The Bikurim are good. But if you can't speak, it's not Roy Lebila, Bila's Makeves Bo. All right, now this is the principle. Now, the Shuri Leket says that this principle applies to Dibur. In fact, to the extent that he says that if you're davening and you hear Kaddish or Kedusha, and you listen and you try to use Shemek on it, lo yotza b'shmiya. You're not yotze. Why? Because since you cannot speak at that time, you can't use Shemek on it because you're Ein Roy Lebila, and Bila's Makeves. But I normally Shemek on it works, even though I don't have to speak, I can listen. Yeah, that's only if you could speak. But since you're in the middle of Shemona Esrei and you can't speak, it's Bilas Makeves Bo. And he says, Kol Shekain Elam. Actually, I believe these words are written by the the Shagzari. Kol Shekain Elam, who can't answer, EF Shalat says Yidei Chavasa B'Shmiya, Davlei Ein Roy Lebila. He is an Ein Roy Lebila, meaning this guy who can't speak, of course he cannot use Shomea Ka'ona. Why? Because when can you use Shomea Ka'ona if you could speak? But since he can't speak, it's Bila Makeves Bo. Okay, so that's the Shmuel Leket, and this is what the Sugyah Shiur is coming to argue with. He's coming to prove this not true. So first we have to understand Kol Shein Bila Makeves Bo very quickly. One time Mincha was fried in Machbas. First you had to do the beliloi. First you had to do the mixing, and then you fried it. But the carbon Mincha needs lechatchila to be belula b'shemen. To mix properly, it requires one lug per 60 esronim, or meaning the maximum amount of solis that you can mix properly with one lug is 60 esronim, no more than that. So, it's one log is not enough for shishim ve'echad. So if a guy says carbon alai mincha alai shishim ve'echad esronim, in that case, if you put that into one machbas, since one log is not sufficient, that mincha is not yotze, it's ma'akev, and he has to bring another mincha. The problem is if he put it in the pot without, let's say he did 60 esronim, and he put it into the pot, into the machbas without mixing with the log of shemen, it's not ma'akev. So obviously you see you don't have to mix it. So why is it if you can't mix it, it's no good? This proves the concept. Kol roy lebila ein bila makeves bo, meaning there'll be many situations in Allah where l'katchila you have to do something, but if you didn't do it, it's still okay. But that's only if you could do it. But kol she'ein roy lebila, if you can't do it, then bila makeves bo. Okay, good. That's now. So basically, this is why the Shmuel Leket says in the middle of Shemona Esrei you cannot use Shemea Ka'ona, and Kol Shekain and Elam cannot use Shemea Ka'ona. The Sugyah Shiur argues, and listen very carefully what he says. He says this is very distinctly different because you can use Shemea Ka'ona. Why? Because why can't you use by the mincha? Why is it that it's possible? Because lekatchila you need to do belula b'shemen, and since 61 can't do it, it's not good. It really can't be done, so it's not lekatchila. But over here by Shemea Ka'ona, piv kshechaver piv dami, meaning he is able to speak. There are two ways of speaking. He could speak in French or German. He could speak with dibur. He could speak with Shemea Ka'ona. It's a absolutely lekatchila way of speaking. And since Shemea Ka'ona is if he's speaking, and therefore Shemea Ka'ona is a system of speech, and it is lekatchila. It is 100% lekatchila. All right, so far so good, right? Right? No questions till now, right? Everybody's good?
We're good.
Good. Now the Shagazari brings a proof. Good. His proof is from Mitzvah Tkiyah Shofar. Okay, so here we go. Women are pater from Mitzvah Seishes Mangroma. And Eved Kanani has the same din as an Isha. So we have this guy who was an Eved Kanani, but he was owned by two masters. One master freed him, the other didn't. So he's in a state of limbo. Half of him is Ben Chorin, half of him is an Eved. So basically, half of him is a Chayiv, just like any other man, as a Ben Chorin. Half of him is an Eved and is pater from all mitzvahs. So what does he do with Tkiyah Shofar? Right? Meaning the bottom line is that this guy, half of him, the Ben Chorin part is completely obligated in Shofar. Half of them, the Eved part is completely pater from Shofar, right? Because women are pater from Shofar, even though women now are mahadir to go to shul and listen to Shofar, but it's a mitzvah seishes mangrom, and really women are pater. So here's the problem. The problem with this guy is that, let's say he blows Shofar, and when he blows a Shofar, it's half an Eved blowing the Shofar. Meaning, let's say he blows Shofar, so half of the Tkiyah is by a Ben Chorin, good Tkiyah. Half of the Tkiyah is by a Eved, so it's it's nothing. It's a half of a Tkiyah. The most he can ever do is half of the Tkiyah. Well, here's the problem. The problem is he has a half of him that's Ben Chorin. So when he blows the Shofar, it's a half bad, half good, but his Ben Chorin part has to hear a whole Tkiyah. What his Ben Chorin part is hearing is half of a Tkiyah, and half of the Tkiyah obviously is not good enough. So therefore he cannot be Motzi himself. And this is the Gemara's conclusion, that a Chatzi Eved Chatzi Ben Chorin cannot be Motzi afilo, not at Mino, he can't be Motzi himself nor anybody else. So he can't be Motzi himself. Says the Shagazari, what do you see from this? He can't be Motzi himself, but he's Chayiv. What does he have to do? Obviously, since his free side is obligated in Shofar, he has to hear it from a real Ben Chorin. He has to hear it from a regular man. A regular man has to blow Shofar. That's a full free man's Tkiyah. His Ben Chorin part is going to hear and be beautiful, have a beautiful Tkiyah. Says the Shagazari, wait a minute. Since he can't be Motzi himself, right? Let's say he would have blown for himself, it'd be half puzzle, and there should be a case, meaning the other guy blows for him, but since he can't blow for himself, how could the guy blowing work for him? He's not Roy Labila. So basically, he shouldn't be able to fill Shofar from someone else. Says the Shagazari, conclusion is it must be just like we say, Piv Shachaveru Kipiv Dami. So too over here we say it's as good as if he blew himself. Meaning, even though it's true that he can't blow, but when the real Ben Chorin blew for him, it's as if he blew, and even though he can't blow, he's Bila's not Makev's. But you see, the discount to Bila Makev's boat doesn't apply over here, just like Shemei Kohen doesn't apply. So too over here. All right, so far so good, right?
Yep.
Good. Now, Shagazari has a question on his proof. Maybe you tell me Ikatzkiya Shofar is Bishmiya. Maybe the whole mitzvah is the Shmiya, in which case he is fully roi to listen, and he's fully capable of listening, and there's no problem whatsoever, right? So basically, that's going to slug up his raya. Why? Because whatever part of him is obligated is quite capable of listening, right? And so if a free man blows for him, he's able to listen, and it wouldn't be a riot to be Bila Makev's bow because the Ben Chorin part is able to listen. So, and the Shagazari brings three proofs that the mitzvah is lishmo to call shofar. Proof number one is what, gentlemen? What is the first proof? Oh, I let the slide slip. What's the first proof?
The bracha is
yeah, the second, right? The second proof is that lishmoa kol shofar. The Rush says, why do we make such a strange bracha lishmoa kol shofar? Why don't we say litkoa shofar or mitzvah shofar? It must be because the mitzvah shmir. What's the first proof? Anybody from the audience? As a high school Rebbe, I used to say this line, I'll wait. And the guys would say, really? That's great, Rebbe. You'll wait? That's wonderful. So I'm not going to wait. All right, the first proof is what? No one remembers? First proof is Medaber ve'eino shomea. if a guy is deaf, he's not a bar chiyuva, and he can't be motzi anybody else in shofar. And right, let's say a guy's deaf, he can't hear. Since he can't hear, he can't be yotzei mitzvah tkiyah shofar, and therefore, even if he blows, he can't be motzi anybody else because he's not chayiv in the mitzvah. So you see, it's b'shmiyah tal yamilsa. You see, it's dependent on shmiyah. Haraya, a guy who's deaf, is not chayiv in it. That's raya number 1. And raya number 3 is what, gentlemen?
Rabbi, that actually seems like now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like a raya like pumped against what he's saying, because by the law bar chiyuva, it's showing that someone who's not able to hear is someone who's not able to hear is an ano what's it called, the bila. He's not in the bilas. I forgot what the phrase is.
Cool.
Right. Ain't a royal bila. Whereas someone like the someone like the Eved really would be royal bila because he's capable of hearing.
Right. All he's trying to prove from here is that that the mitzvah of tkiyah shofar is listening. I'll prove to his listening. Why? Because the guy who's deaf doesn't have the mitzvah. Why can't he just blow and be yotzei mitzvah that way? Obviously, you see that without listening, without hearing it, you're not yotzei. So you see, it's a din in shmiyah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his first raya. You see that tkiyah shofar is a din in shmiyah because the medaber in shmiyah is not. Why is it deaf guy? Why is it not yotzei? It must be because if you can't hear, you can't be yotzei the mitzvah. It must be it's a din in shmiyah. So that's a pretty solid raya. And raya number 3 was what?
The bor.
Bor, exactly. Thank you. Right? If a tokel tochel bor, a guy, you're right. Remember, there were times I had to hide, many generations where you couldn't let people know you're blowing the shofar. So what happens if a guy blows into the bor? The people in the bor over here, and he blows a shofar into the bor, so the kol goes in there, and as a result, he did not hear the kol shofar. Is he yotzei? Answer is lo yotza. Why? It must be b'shmiyah tal yamilsa. Obviously, if you didn't hear, you're not yotzei. You see clearly that it's hearing the kol shofar, and that is the mitzvah. And so these are 3 rayas that it's shmiyas kol shofar. Okay. Now, if this were true, and then the Shagas Ari would have nothing to say. He wouldn't have a raya because it's 100% roy labila. He could listen very well. He can't blow, but he sure could listen. Right? Okay. Now, here's his point. So, roy labila ika mitzaso, whatever is quite capable of listening. So, the Shagas Ari has no raya. But the Shagas Ari does not play dead. He goes on to answer this, right? How does he answer? He brings 3 proofs that basically it can't be only listening is needed. It can't, it's true, listening is needed, and without listening, you're not yotzei. But he says, I'll prove to you that it must be that a person is obligated both in the tkiyah as well as the shmiyah. I mean, shmiyah, we brought through proofs that you have to hear. Okay, good. But I'm going to prove to you, says Shagas Ari, that it's not just the shmiyah, it's also the tkiyah. You're obligated not just to hear the sound of the shofar, you're obligated to blow the shofar as well. How can I prove that to you? So, proof number 1 is...
Mitas.
I'm sorry? That what?
Mitas like lo yotza.
Misasik. Good. Excellent. Right. And misasik. Let's say a guy blows the shofar to play a song, right? So in that case, the Gemara tells us you're not that anybody who listens to him is not yotzei. Now here's the problem. Let's say he's misasik, right? He blew it for whatever reason. It's a kol shofar. If the whole mitzvah was shmiyah kol shofar, and the Eved or whoever may be heard the kol shofar, what do you mean you listen to misasik? Yotzei. It's a kol shofar, meaning if it's not a din in the kiyah, but it's only a din in shmiyah, who cares what he intended when he blew it? It doesn't matter. It came from a ram's horn. It was a human being blowing into it. It's the kol of a shofar. Why would it be yotzei? It's a perfect example. And again, we gave the example of sukkah. If a guy puts up a sukkah, yotzei, and why would this be any different? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is what?
Well, answer. Answer,
so,
right?
Right.
Good. Excellent. Meaning, a chayer shot of a cotton. I don't know where it says misasik over here. Ignore that. I didn't do a slide right. A chayer shot of a cotton who blows shofar. The Gemara tells us, Mishnah tells us, you're not yotzei. What do you mean? If it's only din and shmiyah, who cares who blew it? You heard a ram's horn, a person blew it. You heard the kol of the shofar. It must be the tkiyah is also needed. And the third raya is
He says the Eved himself.
right, the Eved himself. Chatzi Eved, who blows, right? When he blows, it's a kol shofar. So why do you say, why do you say he can't? 1 second, who's somebody not in? No, okay. Why do you say Chatzi Eved can't be Yotze? He should be able to Yotze. Says the Shagzai, concludes it must be the mitzvah Tkiyah shofar is lishmo kol shofar and Tkiyah shofar. The mitzvah is both. You have to listen as well to blow. Therefore, it must be that it's just when he listens, it's not just that he listens; it's as good as he blew himself. And we don't say and everybody's good, right? Everything's perfect.
Everything's
No.
beautiful.
No,
Marty,
no,
question.
no.
Yes.
No,
What's the
no,
question?
no.
What's
Disagree
troubling?
completely.
Completely. Let me hear.
I can slug up every single answer here.
Go for it.
Okay, so the first one, I don't have the screen in front of me. So go back to the first one. The very first one was
Sasik. Shemaim and Sasik.
that yeah, okay. So there, I would say that B'David, he's going to be Yotze. The fact that he's playing out a song, I understand. It's not the key, it's not whatever. But the Iker is on the Shomeya. The fact that the person is hearing something that may not be 100% correct does not mean that he's not Yotze the mitzvah of Shomeya.
Right,
It's
but
going to
here's
be
the
my
problem.
position.
Right, but
What?
one, here's the problem. The problem the Gemara says, in fact, the Mishnah says, Hashomea min misasek lo yotza. If you hear from a person who's misasek, you're not yotze in a mitzvah. Now, why would that be? You heard this kol shofar, but if you heard it from a person who's playing, he had in mind playing a song, you're not yotze. Why should that be?
All right. So there's a problem. I can't go against the Mishnah. All right. But the other, the other two for sure.
Let's look at Shot.
Okay, so they're simple. They're not mechayiv in the mitzvah, so they can't be. They can't be.
You're 100% right.
Mechayiv somebody else.
Good. Here's the problem. If the
Yeah.
whole mitzvah is shmiya, is listening, who cares what the guy is blowing has, who he is, what he is? Who cares? It's a mitzvah to kol shofar. I mean, let's go to sukkah for a minute. What happens if a guy puts up my sukkah? What's halacha?
It's okay. It's kosher.
A guy put it up. How can I sit in such a sukkah? It's not l'shem mitzvah sukkah.
Because the mitzvah is not putting up the sukkah. It's sitting in the sukkah.
Oh, mitzvah sitting in the sukkah. If
Yeah.
the mitzvah shmiya, it'll be just like sukkah. If the whole mitzvah is listening to the kol shofar, what cares? He's Messiah. Who cares what he is? I heard the kol shofar.
Yeah, Goy could blow it.
Because because the
Right, a guy should
person
be able to blow it. Exactly.
because the person that blows the shofar has to be required to hear the shofar. So a
Why?
woman cannot
Why?
just like a woman cannot blow shofar.
Who says she can't? She should be able to.
Intuitively, we know she can't.
No, because says the Shakazari, forget intuitively. He says, I know why. Because part of the mitzvah is tkiyah. Since part of the mitzvah is to blow, that's a part of the mitzvah. So if she's a woman or it's a cherishat v'katim, the blowing is bad. That's how he proves two parts of the mitzvah. It has to be shmiya, but it also has to be tkiyah, because all of these dinim are requirements in the tokeya. Obviously, it has to be that you have to, the tokeya is part of the mitzvah.
It may be a part, but it's a very small part.
It doesn't matter. As long as it's a part, he has his proof.
Okay.
And his goal is to prove that Chatzi Eved can't blow, yet he has to have a din of blowing. You see, in Bila Makeva's bow. And that's his conclusion. It must be, says the Shagas Aryeh, it must be that what? It must be that, Right. It must be that both the mitzvah is both the Shmo Kol Shofar and the Tkiyah Shofar. And therefore, we have a perfect raya, because it must be that since this Ben Chorin Eved guy, this half and half guy, he has to do two things. He has to hear the Kol Shofar and he has to blow the Kol Shofar. Hearing is very good, but how could he can't blow it, yet he has to have a din blowing it. Must be that just like in Elam we use Shemei Kona, so to over here we use Shemei Kona, meaning we don't say Kol Shein or the Bila Makezbo doesn't apply. All right, everybody got that?
Rabbi, it just smacks on the ears a little bit to say that listening is doing two things at once. You're doing listening for listening, and you're doing listening for speaking, but they're doing two different things.
That's your problem?
It does. It just does something doesn't sit right. It just doesn't sound.
Is that your problem, Binyamin Pesach?
That is a problem that is bothering me.
Binyamin Pesach, I got much bigger fish to fry. Much bigger fish to fry.
What about the fact that there's no Dibur going on here?
Thank you very much. Who ever heard something so crazy in your life? Shomea is Kitokeya. Watch, I have a new one also. Let's say I listen to the guy say the bracha of mitzvahs tefillin. Shomea mitzvah is like I put on tefillin. Or Shomea is like I put on tzitzit. Or Shomea is like I drink the kiddush kos. Or Shomea is like I ate matzah. Or Shomea Ka'on is a special din. And by Dibur is a representation of Das. Really, Dibur is 90% Das with a little bit of speed, but it's mostly Das. So you could argue that there's a concept, Shomea Ka'on, it's as good as if you spoke, but it's only because it's Dibur that we're dealing with. No one would say Shomea is Kechilas Matzah. Right? Let's say I'm at the Seder table and I listen to people crunching them out. Oh, Shomea Kechilas Matzah. Shomea, like you were crazy. How do you say Shomea is okay? If you need a Tekiah shofar, how does Shomea make a Tekiah shofar?
I don't understand, Rebbe. Is Rebbe trying to slug up the Shagasari?
Yes. No, Jake did it for me.
But I don't understand. He's not picking on that. He's going on the Bila route. He's saying that he's showing that if you're not Roy Labila and you're still able to be Yotze the Mitzvah, that shows that by Elaim being not Roy Labila doesn't make him not ma'akev you.
Right. I'm saying there's something rotten in the state of Denmark. If you're telling me that it's as good as if he blew, his listening is as good as if he's blue, and therefore it's Dome to Shmei Kon, I say that's cheating Daraisa. Why? Because there's no way you can tell me his listening is like he blew the shofar. That's dumb. You can't say, no one could say it.
I thought he was just trying to prove something about being Roy Labila and not Roy Labila.
He proves that the Chatzi Eved has to do two things: listen and blow. So I have a little question. If that's true, Rabbi Shagas Aryeh, how does he ever accomplish what he has to do? He listens to the Shmiya part of God. How does he do the Tekiah part? The answer is his Shmiya as if he blew it. How could you say something like that? You can't say Shmiya is like Tekiah.
Oh, I understand what Rebbe's asking. I mean, Rebbe's asking Meneu Bey in his conclusion. How does it make sense that Tekiah is like? How does it make sense that the Ben Chorin part that's hearing it is Ki'ilu he's blowing it? Okay,
right, it's ridiculous. How do you say it? You can't say that. Shemea Kitekeya, Shemea eating matzah, Shemea, like whoever heard something like that.
Why do we know that there should be a difference between speaking and blowing a shofar?
Because we had a whole shiur on Shemea Ka'oneh. Right. Let's review a little bit. Why do we say something so crazy like Shemea Ka'oneh? And there's only one reason and one reason only.
It was the king Yoshio, the king said it in his name, whatever we had.
Yeah, you're right, but really it's more basic than that. We started with Reb Zera holds Hira Kedibur. According to Reb Zera, if you're Mahara, the words of Kriya Shema, you think those out, you Yotze in the mitzvah say, I v'dibarta bam, Hira Kedibur. Thinking like, how do you say, how's Hira Kedibur? So the answer is, Hira is Kedibur, because what is Dibur? Dibur is taking your das and putting it into the world. It's das concretized, das put into the world. But all Dibur is das in a different form. But if you want to know what Dibur is 90% das, maybe 89% das, just put into this form where it can be audible, it can be heard, put into the world. But it's mostly das. Mostly das put into the world. Good. So on something like that, you could say Shomea is Ka'oneh. You could say just listening, meaning on Amen. Just like we took the step of saying, let's say, if I sign a contract, and it's 13 pages, and I sign on the bottom, every word in that contract I'm obligated. And why? Because when I sign, I'm saying every word above I agree to. So too, let's say you make a bracha, and I say Amen. And when I say Amen, you can easily hear why it's like I said your whole bracha, because Amen means emes. I'm Amen, I affirm what you're saying. And when I say I affirm, it's like I said those words. By the way, how do you take a shvuah here in American arcos in the courts, right? Put your hand on the Bible. I don't put my hand on the Bible. Do you affirm? So basically, that guy and the bailiff says these words. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Then the person, the witness, then says, I swear or I affirm. When I say the words I affirm, that means I'm obligating myself to all the words you said. I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's like I said those words. Why? Because I affirm, and because Dibur is mostly Das, you can hear a svara. Why Shomea, like nodding your head and agree, that's good enough. But you can't say it about Tekiah Shofar. Tekiah Shofar is a Maisa, is a Tekiah. You can't, listening is like Tekiah. So that's like saying, and listening to the crunch of the matzah is like a Miyotzi, or, it's pretty sure.
It's not the same thing as eating as matzah. I mean, it's blowing a shofar is not that different from singing a voice or calling out, or
it's not so different, except it's radically, totally, and completely different. Except it's not so different, but it's radically, totally, completely, utterly, impossibly different. But other than that, it's pretty much the same.
So Rebbe's really asking, how could anybody be Mekayim Shofar without blowing it? Meaning anybody in the world. How is anybody Mekayim Shofar?
Yes,
everyone
good.
should blow.
Right, correct. Meaning for Dibur, we say we have a concept called Shomea Kona. I got that. But we need over here, and what mechanism works by shofar? It says the Sugyah Shiur is as good as if he blew it himself. We can't say Shomeas Kitokea. Nobody's going to say that. I mean, here's my important slide. The most important slide. It doesn't make sense.
We already established that if it's someone's saying and there's an accoutrement that going along with it, like a Megillah or a Kos or other stuff, that you could extend that. So is it so much far-fetched to say?
So, but let's understand that. When you're making Kiddush ala Kos, it's a different kind of dibur. And when you're holding the Kos, it adds chashivas to it. You say with different kavana, different intent, it adds chashivas. So your dibur is different. So the person who's listening to that dibur is a shomea on a different kind of dibur. So it's like you hold the Kos. Okay, good, shkayach here. But a tekiah is a mice of, it's no connection to a dibur. It's like, you want to call it a dibur, you call it anything you want, but it's like calling a giraffe a monkey and a monkey and orangutan. But
no, it's more like you're saying a human's a monkey. Like
oh yeah,
saying...
right, maybe. Man knows we can. Yeah, we're 95% monkey, right? Same 95% DNA. All right. Okay, good. So far, so bad. So this is what this is the challenges. You what?
No, I was just thinking the bracha is, like he said, is l'shmoa kol shofar. So we know that the mitzvah, like, I don't want to say the ikar mitzvah because he just got finished saying that there's the key part also, but the mitzvah is to hear the shofar.
Okay, yes. You could tell me most of the mitzvah is tekiah. I mean, most of it is shmiya, but there's also tekiah. He proved to us that misase kev shot of a cotton, right? All of these prove that tekiah is part of it. Also, you also need the tekiah. And the problem is, if you need the tekiah, you ain't got the tekiah because he didn't blow. Well, he listened to blowing. For what?
Mm-hmm.
I laid down the gauntlet. This is the kasha for the sugya. This is the challenge. This is the kasha, and it's not a small kasha, by the way. Okay, so how are we going to answer it?
The Ketsos from last sugya?
That'd be a good place to start. Sure, would be. It'd be very helpful, but not completely. But it's a good start. All right, so let's go. The first step we need to do is clearly he's not saying, and anybody who says this is going to be on my bad list. Now, I will warn you ahead of time. There are Orthodox rabbis, and I mean this. I'm pretty sure they're Orthodox. There are Orthodox rabbis who quote the Shagas Aryeh as saying, you see, Shomeas Ketokea. Kvodo Yomo b'Makomo. I don't claim to know a hundredth of what they know. I don't claim to be a hundredth of who they are, but I know they're wrong. So let's continue with that. Binyamin Pesach wasn't here for that line. Good. I'm glad. Okay. So I do not accept that in any rational form or way. So obviously we're going to have to answer this question. So let's start with the following. Obviously we're going to have to deal with a regular type of shlichus. And we're going to have to use some type of shlichus over here, meaning clearly this Chatzi Eved guy is not the blower, but he's somehow it's going to work through shlichus that this guy over here is blowing for him, right? So we're going to learn a little bit about the parsha of shlichus, and through that we're going to come a little bit closer to understanding things, maybe, hopefully, and through that, hopefully, things will make a little more sense. So let's begin. Gemara and Kedushim. From where do you know that shlichus works? Now we know shlichus works by Kedushim, by Gerushin, and as far as many things shlichus works from. Where do you know from? Answer is V'shachto. So Kol Kal Adas Shel Ben Arbaim. The entire Klal Yisrael shechs is one goat Ben Arbaim. Now, you know the neck of the goat is about 3 inches wide, 2 inches wide. It's hard to imagine that the entire Klal Yisrael, 600,000 men, are going to shech this one goat. So it says the Gemara from here. You see, Shlucha Shalom Kemoso. There must be one man shechs it for the tzibur, and when he shechs it, this one man shechs it, and it works at old tzibur, right? But basically, the way it works is the maisa of shchita is done by this guy. The maisa transfers. Shlucha Shalom says, and the maisa that he does transfers over, but shlucha works for the maisa. So when his hand shechted the goat, that hand works for all of these guys. It's their hand. It works for them. That maisa works. Okay, now, here's the question. Does shlichus apply to tkiyas shofar? So, we will be faced with the ksosis problem. And Yaakov, thank you for mentioning that. Here is the famous ksosis question. The ksosa choshen says as follows. Why, let's say one morning I'm a little bit tired. Why can't I just say to you, do me a favor, you go to shul, put on tefillin, and be motzei me, be motzei me mitzvah, right? Anyone try that, by the way, in high school?
We said there are certain mitzvot that you can't delegate.
Right.
And then other shirts.
So exactly. We're just reviewing that because we're going to use a step from there. The ksosis question is, why can't I just send you to shul and tell you to put on tefillin and gesundheit and be motzei me, right? So he says as follows. Read the verse. Ukshartem laos al yadecha. Tie this os on your hand, and it should be a totovos bein enech between your eyes. So here's the problem. It's a mitzvah begufo. Vayula totovos bein enecha means he must put tefillin on his head. So watch this. Let's say I send Ruvain to shul. I say, Ruvain, you go to shul and you put on tefillin for me. The Maisa transfers. It's great. It's perfect. Here's the problem. The Maisa transfers, but the problem is, and the mitzvah begufo has to be the totovos bein is put on tefillin on his head. So watch what happens. Yes, this Maisa putting tefillin on Ruvain's head transfers to Shimon, but the problem is the tefillin put on the wrong head, because it's the Maisa putting Ruvain's Maisa of Ruvain putting tefillin on his head that transfers. The problem is Shimon's head's got to have the tefillin on it, and it doesn't do that. It never works. He didn't put tefillin on his head, so it can't transfer. Meaning, when you're dealing with a Maisa shchita, and the Maisa shchita can transfer, who cares? Because they don't have to do the shchita themselves. The Maisa transfer is fine. But here, you have to put tefillin on your head. Now, here is $1 million question. No, we're not going to answer this evening, but that is, how can Shomea Ka'ona work by Tkiyah Shofar? It really can't. So obviously Shlichus does. How does Shlichus work when it seems to be, it seems to be a mitzvah begufo? Meaning, I'm going to tell you, obviously, it can't be Shomea Ketokea. It has to be some type of Shlichus. The problem is, Shlichus, like the Ksos says, a mitzvah begufo. And you have to do it begufo. You have to do it with your lips. So if I tell him, be my shliach, shkayach, so he's my shliach. So when he blew with his lips, it has a din, it comes back to me as if he blew with his lips. I get the maisa. But I have to blow with my lips. It's a mitzvah gufo. Tkiyah shofar is a mitzvah gufo, just like tefillin. How do you use shlichus on him?
But tefillin,
yeah.
Can one say that really be'etzem you could have shlichus by tefillin? The only problem is that the pasuk says al yadecha and bein einecha. Memela, you can't have shlichus there.
Right.
But any other mitzvah, even if it's a mitzvah shebegufo, as long as you don't have the restriction of yadecha or einecha that it must be yours, then shlichus should work.
Right. Very good. So therefore, I don't have to sin a sukkah, right? I don't have to put on tzitzit. I don't have to make kiddush. Let you do it for me. Says the Ksos, any mitzvah begufo can't be done by somebody else because it's a mitzvah my guf. I have to blow shofar. I have to sin a sukkah. I have to wear tzitzit. I have to put on tefillin. If you do it, it's great. I get credit for you putting a tefillin on your head. You sitting in the sukkah. But I got to sit in the sukkah. I got to put on tefillin. I have to blow the shofar. Any mitzvah begufo shlichus doesn't work on.
So that's why the mitzvah is on hearing. It's not on blowing.
But the problem is we proved that it's blowing also because Misasek,
Well, wait. Okay, wait. Let's bifurcate this. It's blowing also. The
Right.
ikr is hearing, and we're all mekayim through the ikr part, and zehu.
And Zehu, how do you know why? How do you split that? What do you, like I say, because it's convenient. It's convenient, but it's wrong.
To call ha'am is also a mitzvah begufo.
It's not, because you don't have to shecht it. It's
No, to call ha'am. So they all have to shecht it. Elamad, there are some mitzvahs that are mamish begufo mamish, and there are other mitzvahs that it's a mitzvah on me to do it, but it could be done al yedei shliach.
the shecht of the kol kaladas Yisrael, the whole kaladas Yisrael has to shecht it, not any individual. And the kaladas Yisrael has to shecht it. It's not a mitzvah begufo.
Okay, and Basuka's Teshu Shivas Yamim is similar to that. But we know that you can't have a shliach sit in the sukkah for you. That's
Right, because mitzvah begufo. Any mitzvah begufo, any mitzvah in your guf, you can't use a shliach for because it doesn't work. Because I don't become you. Meaning, if you became my total, I molded into your body, then you could wear tefillin for me. But I don't mold into your body. What shlichus does is transfers a maisa. It takes a maisa that you did and it transfers it to me. Okay, that it does. But if I have to do the maisa myself, I didn't do it. If I have to put a tefillin on my hand, if I have to blow shofar myself, I didn't do it.
Wait, really, a raya to this. It's really the raya is that you have to hear it by yourself, and you can't make someone else a shliach to hear it. It's really a raya that it's a mitzvah.
All right, good, very good, Yaakov. Very good point. Well, this year it's a little tough for me to make it a shul. I'm going to say, do me a favor, go be my shliach, go to shul and listen for me. Do the shmiyah for me. What would you say? I'm not going to go to shul this Rosh Hashanah. It's a little hard. I send you as my shliach. Go listen.
If it's Shabbos, then you're 100% Yaitse, like everybody else.
Okay, second day Rosh Hashanah.
Adarab, if it's Shabbos, maybe you're over the Avera.
Right. Ain't shliach devar ve'er. But let's assume a second day Rosh Hashanah, right? I send you to shul. I'm a little tired. I'm a little lazy. I don't want to go. I send you to be my shliach to go hear the Sugyah Shofar for me. What would you say to me? I assume you'd laugh, right? Because it's a mitzvah gufa. You can't listen for me because when you listen, it's very good. It gets a din as your ears hearing gets a din as I heard your ears hearing. But it's I heard your ears hearing, and your ears listen. But it's
maybe that's the point. Maybe the listening is the mitzvah shebaguf, but the blowing part is not mitzvah shebaguf.
Maybe, but why? How do you explain it? What do you? Maybe. And by the way, if you think about it, and this I'm going to challenge you on. Let's say you're right, then the Shagas Aryeh is in bigger trouble than ever. Why? Because then he proved nothing from Chatzi Eved v'Chatzi Ben Chorin. This is homework question. If you think about it, if in fact the Shagas Aryeh means regular shlichos, and then Chatzi Eved is a zero as a raya. Yaakov, work on this over Shabbos. These are the words. If in fact the reason why Sugyah Shofar works is through regular shlichos, then the Shagas Aryeh proved zero. Because if Chatzi Eved Chatzi Ben Chorin is yotzei through shlichos, then he brought no raya to what he's trying to prove. I'll make it a little more clear so you hear it a little better. Gentlemen, do I have to make Kiddush Friday night? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Or hear it from somebody.
Now, it's a mitzvah gufa. How could listening help?
Because the mitzvah is Kaddish the day. It's not an Inyan Amit to be making Kiddush, but there's an
Sure, one second. I got to interrupt. Sure, I got to stop you for a minute. Again, here's the question. You have 30 people at the table, and they're all bar dasa, all bar mitzvah. Men, women are chayev in mitzvah of Kiddush Hayom, right? Zocher Shem Shabbos Zakacho. One man makes Kiddush, and they're all yotzei. They all have a mitzvah gufo. Each one is obligated with his mouth to say the words, and he didn't say it. What's the answer to that question, gentlemen?
Shomea Ka'ona.
Thank you. Shomea Ka'ona. You did say it. He said it. He said it. Why? Because one man said, and each person Shmiya has a din of Dibur. Each person said it. Okay, watch. that is what the Shagis Ari is trying to prove. And does that work if a person can't speak? I mean, we know Shomei Kona. What about an Elam? A guy can't speak. Is Bilam Akev's bow? If Tkiya Shofar was a din in regular shlichus, then Tkiya Shofar is no raya whatsoever to what he's trying to prove. Why? Because of course he could be a shlich. He doesn't have to do the Maisa. It's not Bilam Akev's bow because no one has to do the Maisa. If one man does the Maisa and it transfers and it's not a mitzvah gufo, so of course the Evid can't blow, but he doesn't have to blow. But it wouldn't be a raya whatsoever to what he's trying to prove. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
But
Not entirely, I'm sorry.
Rebbe, hold on.
Yes.
The blowing is not the being able to speak. It's being able to hear. If the guy can't speak, he can still blow shofar. No problem.
Right.
The-
Right. But
So,
two,
so wait.
two-
So wait. Let's do a two-step. So if we say Shomei Kona, not when it comes to shofar.
right. Here's the problem. The
There's a problem here.
Shagis Ari set us up clearly. There are two parts to shofar, listening and blowing. And because it's listening and blowing, and therefore he says it's exactly comparable to the Elam. Just like the Elam, even though he can't speak, but we could use Shomei Kona. So too, the Chatzi Evid, even though he can't blow, he could use something of it to take care of his obligation to be Tokeya. If in fact regular shlichus work for the Tekiya, then it'd be no raya whatsoever, klal or klal, to what the Shagazari is trying to prove. Why? Because then of course, Bil's not Makev's bow. No one has to blow themselves. Meaning, I want to ask you a question. Let's say, here's a question. Let's say I don't have arms. Can I make a shlich to shech the korban pesach for me? Oh, Bila Makev's, but you don't have arms, you can't do it. Would anybody say that?
No.
Jake, you hear this point?
Yeah.
If I don't have arms, right, would you say, oh, you can't appoint, you can't appoint somebody to shech the korban pesach for you because Bila Makev, you can't shech to yourself, you can't do it. Not only isn't that true, it's totally false because there's many things a person can't do, and he has a Kohen do it for him. And the Kohen's a shliach. By the way, the Bailim, the Kohen eats, and the Bailim are mechaper. Only the Kohen can eat the kachim, but al eshikasha Bila Makevsbo. The Yisrael can't eat the kachim, and it's not mechaper until the Kohen eats it, and the Kohen's a shliach for the Yisrael. But the Yisrael can't eat it himself, so Bila Makevsbo. Teretz is if it's not a mitzvah gufo, you don't have to do it yourself. Let the shliach do it. It works for you perfectly. But that means it won't be a riot to what we're trying to prove, because we're trying to prove that an Elam who needs the Dibur, even though he can't speak, can use Shomei Kona. If it's a regular shlichus, it's no raya klal or klal. Wow.
Since we're saying it's not proving regular Shemel Kahuna either, yeah, Yaakov mentioned this before. Is his raya really just that the Shibula Leketz Gedarim for Kolroy Levila is not accurate?
Well, he definitely feels it doesn't apply, but I'm saying he hasn't proved anything. I say this Shagazari is impossible to understand. Meaning, he told us that there are two parts. There's the Shmiya and the Tkiya. So I say, Mamanavshach, explain to me, please, how the Chatzi Evid does the Tkiya part. If you tell me Shomea to Kitokeya, it was if we had a pasuk, so okay, I hear. But there is no such pasuk. So Elamai, and not Shomea to Kitokeya, must be regular shlichus. That when the other guy blows, it's not a mitzvah b'gufa, you just have a regular shliach, right? If that were true, first of all, we'd have to explain why it's true. But if that were true, then he brought no raya whatsoever to what he's trying to prove, because then the whole point that he's trying to prove of Elam is Elam has to speak, but he could use Shemaya Ka'ona as his Dibur. Is it Bila Makev's bow or not? And you can't prove to me Chatzi Evid who doesn't have to blow. He doesn't have to blow. He could use a shliach to blow. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a bomb kasha.
Oh, good.
Just so structurally, are we going to try to answer for him, or we're saying that Shagazari is thrown out?
No. We're going to try to answer.
Okay.
The goal is
we need a hybrid.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly what I mean. Actually, I do, but it means something. Yeah, we have to figure out this. This is a shver Shagazari. We have to figure it out. Shagazari was a holy Jew, a very learned Jew, and he didn't make these kind of mistakes. That's for sure. So what does he mean? What's going on here? What's going on? And that's what we have to understand. All right, gentlemen. Chaim, how we doing?
I'm going to use the Chazar over Shabbos to make it work, but so far so good. A little confusing, but I'll get there.
Chatzi Evid? Chatzi,
Something like that.
Rabbi, we know that it can't be mamish shlichus all the way because of the shmiyah problem. Meaning there has to be some gufo aspect to this mitzvah.
All right, but so you guys are trying some dre, right? Binyan Pesach and company were trying some dre. Maybe it's regular shlichus with a tekiah. The shmi you have to listen, but somehow the tekiah use regular shlichus. I'm saying if that were true, then the Shagas Ari did nothing. Why? Because if that were true, he didn't prove anything because he needs the Chatziyavet to have to do a tekiah. Otherwise, it's not like the Elaim case who's got to speak.
Meaning he needs the Chatziyavet to do everything in order for him to show that even though he's not Roy Labila, he's still able to be Motz.
Exactly. The minute you tell me the Chatziyavet doesn't really have to blow, he doesn't have to do tekiah, he could use shlichus, you have no raya. You slug yourself up. And everything is very not beautiful. Everything is mud. Very unclear, very difficult.
Gee, thanks.
Is this a recent kasha that Rebbe had, or has Rebbe had this kasha for some time, like earlier in life?
No, I just started. This is the first time I learned this Shagas Aryeh.
Wow.
You mean I used to be bright and I no longer can think of intelligent things?
No.
Rabbi Schaefer, you used to know a little bit how to learn, but now we know for sure you're nobody and nothing. What do you like?
What I'm saying is that for learning that for the first time, that's a lot to digest. It's a lot.
I didn't learn it one time, I promise you.
Right, I believe that.
All right, gentlemen, scenes of becoming attractions. So this is what we got to deal with. We have to figure out some answer for the Shver Shagas Aryeh. And join us in Mitzvah Hashem Sunday night for more excitement and fun, hopefully. More understanding of Tekiah Shofar and what the mitzvahs and what Shlichus is here. All right?
Are there any Marmakomos, Rabbi? Anything we should...
Yeah, there are Marmakomos. Yeah, there really are. There really are. There's a Rashbam and a Ritva. That's very important. And I will bleened there, send them out tomorrow.
I think it's different Rashbam that Rebbe already sent, or that's
actually no, that Rashbam, right? You saw that Rashbam already. Yeah, that Rashbam is very important. I just have to think of sequence how we're going to do this, and so I'll think what's the easy way to do it. So bleened tomorrow, I'll send out. I'll let you know whether that Rashbam, right? I did send out. And the Ritva I didn't, so I'll let you know what to work on bleened tomorrow.
Can Rebbe please just write the question in on the WhatsApp chat, just so I can read it when my brain is working better?
I don't think I could write. I could do a very quick version of it. How about that? A 5-minute quick recap.
No, I meant in writing because I could print it out and then I could be reading it over again.
Let me see if I can write it out. I'll see.
There's gotta be a pun there with Shomea Ki.
Yeah, there's gotta be something there.
There are AIs that have text speech to text recognition.
Yeah, right. That's right. All right, good, gentlemen. All right. Okay. See you in Okay. Shabbos.
Have a great Shabbos.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right.